Hi everyone, my name is Moni.
And I'm Naveen.
And today we are previewing a game that's coming to Kickstarter called Whale Riders.
Yeah, this one's designed by Reiner Knizia, very, very popular designer.
Oh yeah.
Done a lot of good stuff. Art is done by Vincent Dutrait, and it is published by Grail Games. Like she said, it's coming to Kickstarter, plays 2 to 6 players, and we're going to show you how it plays.
And before we get started, we just want to let you know that the copy that we have is a prototype copy. So some of the artwork and components are all subject to change, but the gameplay is pretty much there. So we're not going to play the entire game, but we are going to show you how it plays and take a couple of turns, and just so you can kind of get a feel for the game. Yep. And with that, we are going to get started. Now, if you direct your attention to the center of the table, we have the icy coast.
Yes. Yeah.
Because in this game, we are whale riders, and these are our whale rider pieces. I'm just going to lay them down just so you can see them right there. And as whale riders, we are going to be traveling down this coast, purchasing these wares to sell and complete contracts in order to earn money and pearls. And so this is a pearl. Once we get to the very end of the coast, we're going to make our way back home. And at the very end of the game, whoever has the most pearls wins. Because in this game, wealth is
measured in pearls.
Yes. To start the game, our whale riders start at the very, very far end here of the coast. We also start with 3 monies and 3 contracts in our hand. And so the way the game works is we're going to be taking turns, taking 2 actions each out of 5 possible actions. Mm-hmm. And you can do the same one twice if you want to. But these actions are, the first action is just moving your whale rider forward 1 space. That is 1 action. So if you wanted to, on your turn, you could move up twice. That's possible. The second type of action is purchasing one of these tiles from the port that you're at. So if you can kind of see, there's a number to the right here. This tells you how much money you have to pay to take that tile. So this one's, the first tile is always free, and then 1, 2, and 3. The different types of resources in this game are meat, pottery, kelp, shells,
yep,
and crystals, which are wild. Sometimes you'll also see pearls like this, and that is just going to be points for the end of the game.
Straight victory point, yep.
The third action you can take is just taking 1 gold coin from the supply. So just a little bit of money. And then the next action is kind of where a majority of your earnings are going to be coming from, is fulfilling these contracts. Now, you're always going to have 3 contracts in your hand, and the contracts look like this. They show a variety of different wares that you need to turn in order to fulfill the contract. The money on the right-hand side is what you're going to be getting immediately when you fulfill it, and then the number on the left side is the number of pearls or points it's going to earn you at the end of the game. So taking this action allows you to fulfill any number of the contract cards in your hand. So if you want to be efficient, then you try to fulfill all of them at once.
Right.
But each contract must be fulfilled separately. So if you have any excess on the tile, then those are just lost. And then the last action you can take is pretty much just flushing your hand. You can discard any number of these contract cards in order to draw up new ones at the end of your turn. Let's just take a couple of turns to kind of showcase how these actions fit together, and we'll discuss the rest of the game. Shall we?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just say I'm going first, and I am this purple whale rider here. And so on my first turn, I might do something like moving up for 1 action, and then taking this tile for free for my second action. Now that my action is finished, all of these tiles are going to slide down, and we are going to draw a replacement tile that's going to be at the most expensive spot at the top. And so, oh, there you go. You have a very expensive 1 point there for Naveen. So now it would be Naveen's turn.
Yep. So one of my 2 actions, I'm going to move, just like Monique did, and then I will take, for nothing, a wild crystal.
Okay.
So now all these are going to slide down, and we refill this one as well.
And so sometimes you may see this kind of tile that you refill with, and this is a snowstorm. And so the way that snowstorms work is you cannot actually purchase them. They don't do anything for you in this game. All they do is they continue to slide down further and further until they occupy the cheapest slots.
Yeah, they just clog up space.
And now wares are just going to be more expensive in that port for the rest of the game. So then now it's back to me, and I might maybe move forward a space, kind of make Naveen a little bit nervous here, and I would like to purchase this tile for 1 coin.
Okay.
And then this gets replenished. So there's a little bit of a race element here because Naveen can kind of see me pushing forward, and we'll replace this.
The thing that's kind of nice though is if I'm by myself here and I'm only 1 space away, I have this passive, I can just get these items passively without worrying about competition. So for my first action, I will take the kelp. That's free. This does not slide down though, so it's going to stay like this, and then I'm going to pay $1 for these 2 meat. So these will slide down. So that was 2 actions.
And these get refilled. And then now on my turn, I can fulfill this contract. So I would go ahead and show it, and it requires 3 meat and I have 4. So I don't get any change. That extra meat just gets wasted, but I would get 2 gold coins immediately. And at the end of the game, this is gonna score me 2 pearls.
2 victory points, yeah.
2 victory points. So we pretty much do this until we get to the very end here. Once you get to the very end, you continue playing, you actually turn around and you continue playing until you reach the very end here.
Yeah, so it's a round trip.
Yeah, it's just one round trip around this icy coast. And so once you get to the very first spot, your home base, then you can start purchasing these pearl tiles. And as you can see, the 0 spot, the free spot, already has a snowstorm, so they all cost a certain amount of coins. These are never going to get refilled. So maybe I start my turn at this spot. I can purchase the first 2 for 3 gold. And then at the end of my turn, these are all going to slide down and get cheaper, but they're never going to get refilled. So this is actually the game timer. Once all 7 of these pearl tiles have been purchased, the game ends immediately. And then you count up your score. And whoever has the most points in pearls on your tiles as well as on your contract cards is going to be the winner.
And we kind of briefly glossed over contract cards, but some of them include different types. So this one right here requires different combinations of wares. This one just needs straight up tiles. So see how I have 3 tiles here? I could have turned these 3 tiles in to get this. Another one is just any number of total wares. It just has to be specific.
Yeah, so they vary widely. My card just happened to be like an easier one to fulfill. Maybe if I need some extra money because you're gonna want to have gold coins along the way in order for you to purchase more of these tiles. As you get further along in the game, more and more of these snowstorms are going to come out. And so on the road back, these are going to be more expensive. Very expensive, yeah. So like we mentioned earlier, this is a prototype, so it doesn't have the full game to it. I believe that the game is potentially going to include some variants. Mm-hmm. So there might be some variants to kind of spice things up along the way. But again, this is a very light strategy game, but it is a Knizia, so it does have a fair amount of tense decisions. There's decision making in terms of, oh, do I take this cheaper tile, but it's going to make a very good 3-item tile so much cheaper for the person who's going to go after me? Yep. Or when do I fulfill my contract cards? So I need money now, but if I can fulfill several in one turn, then I can become more efficient. You could also put the pressure on your opponents by moving forward ahead a couple spaces, and then they start getting tense, feeling like they need to catch up. So there's a lot of different decisions that you do have to make in here. You can even make the decision to jump ahead a couple spaces, putting that pressure on your opponents, because if you're out in front, they are nervous that you are closer to making that way back and just buying those pearls at a really, really cheap rate. Right. And this game does play up to 6. So if you can imagine 4 to 6 wheel riders all kind of competing for these spots. Yep. And then that return trip is really fast. People want to get to those end game pearls before they get end the game. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that especially in higher player counts, that end game can become a lot more exhilarating. Yeah. And that's pretty much the entire game. So if you're interested in checking it out, we will include the link to the Kickstarter below, and they are scheduled to go live on July 14th. 14th, yeah. So go ahead and check them out. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.